Hey everybody, and welcome to Twin Talk, a video discussion show where twin brothers Chris and Kevin drink and draw. We're talking about comic books, movies, and all things pop culture. We are your hosts, Chris Hart,
Kevin Hart,
and this is our series review for The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Stick around to the end of the episode to see how our drawing of Sam Wilson as Captain America came out. And if you like what you see, subscribe to the channel for more content.
So this is our series review for The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which at the end credits they reveal is Captain America and the Winter Soldier. We see Sam Wilson goes from his character arc goes from the Falcon to eventually accepting his role as the new Captain America, which is well earned, well deserved in my opinion.
He levels up,
and we felt that after the events of Endgame, who should get the legacy of this character between Sam and Bucky. We know that Bucky had a little bit too much blood on his hands. In the show, he
a lot of blood.
Yeah, a lot of blood over like 2 decades worth. Bucky kind of atones for his sins in this series at the end. He crosses all the names out of the book. Mm-hmm. He's good to go. He's got closure, at least some sense of peace in his life. Now he can move forward. But we see that Sam finally accepts the fact that he is good enough to be Captain America, especially since we've been shown throughout the series this Isaiah Bradley character who was kind of, mistreated, heartbreakingly so.
It was hit pretty hard.
In his origins, and you see how bitter he is now in his old age. So it was really nice to see in the finale that he gets to see a black Captain America, and that's really cool because one of my favorite things about this show and Captain America's his pocket of the Marvel Universe and comics, movies, whatever, is that they can take on those social political aspects of real world stuff, and that's definitely what they do here. I thought it worked pretty well, especially in the finale when Sam Wilson gives his little monologue, and to me that was a nice wrap up for everything that this show was trying to
accomplish.
Exactly, yeah.
I really liked how it bookended between Sam Wilson kind of giving up the shield to then finally full on holding up the legacy that is Captain America and not saying oh, I'm the Falcon or whatever. He was like, I am Captain America. And I love that he just assumed that role. This was, I think, way better than WandaVision as a show for Marvel Television. It was the second series in the Disney Plus streaming. I think it could have benefited from being a binge fest.
Yeah, I was.
It was kind of hard to keep up week to week, like we said in our episode by episode reviews.
It would benefit from just sitting down, crushing this in one day or one weekend.
Kind of like how Netflix releases it all at once. But I mean, I obviously understand the business model of okay, we need subscribers to stick around, so we're going to release it week by week.
But at this point, Disney Plus, they're going to get the subscribers.
Yeah, true.
They have everything, It's they leave us something, Please let me see my kids again. I miss the days of when Netflix would release Daredevil or Punisher,
and you would just call out of work for 2 days.
We would just tear it up all weekend long. We'd get Domino's. We'd be sitting there in our underwear, just eating it up, dude.
Because then it's a 6 to 8 hour movie.
10-hour
movie,
and you get so into it. Like I said, it benefits from it because, like I was saying before, I don't even remember the Flag Smashers plot, their agenda, what they were trying to accomplish, because there was so much going on over the last 6 weeks. It was almost 2 months. A lot's happened in 2 months. My hairline's leaving. It's we got the tax season. There's a lot going on. My car needs repairs. I can't remember what Carly Morgenthau's doing.
Yeah, exactly.
I just know that she's dead.
Yeah, thank God. She was one of the weakest aspects to me of the entire show was Carly Morgenthau. Going back to the heroes, Sam Wilson, I thought he was great. Bucky, I love that he kind of had that redemption arc. It's very much like the comic books. It could have gone either way, right? Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Either one of them could have came out as being Captain America, and it probably would have worked out fine. But in the MCU, and just as a character in general, Bucky as the Winter Soldier, he does have too much red in his ledger, as Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow would say, for him to be this American icon. So I'm glad to see that Sam Wilson kind of got the shield, and he leveled up as a character. I'm very excited to see him going forward in the next phases of the Marvel Cinematic Universe as this role of Captain America. And Bucky, I'm excited to see what he does next too. Now that we can finally get not emo Bucky, because for the last 4 movies or whatever, he's just been
walking around in the rain. Oh,
yeah,
I killed some people. He's boo.
Because I love Bucky. In the comic books,
character, especially with Steve being gone. Another thing too,
he's the last of his
was
kind.
hoping to see Steve Rogers
yes.
make a cameo, and we don't get to see that in this show. I think that's a missed opportunity. I guess Steve Rogers will show up in the next Captain America movie
I hope so. Yeah.
as an old Steve Rogers.
Because he said Steve is gone. Does that mean he's dead or he's just gone as Captain America? I hope.
Yeah, yeah, they said
Otherwise,
gone.
they
What does that mean?
completely brushed over that because we didn't see him die in Endgame. He just kind of aged out.
That would be a pretty important scene.
Yeah, we
to
need-
showcase the death of Captain America. Even as an
Steve
old man,
Rogers, yeah.
have all of the Avengers there. Have a funeral. Like that's an event level, show or movie that they can showcase. Like
Yeah.
whether it's a little chapter of a movie or a show. Like we've been with these characters for 10 years now. You definitely want to have
Some
that
closure
respect
type
and
deal, yeah.
closure towards those character arcs.
I think it would have been great to have Steve Rogers come in and kind of like add that impact of like, yeah, I'm passing on the torch. But he kind of did that already in Endgame. And I think that like, especially with the times being very relevant, this topic of like persons of color, right? I think if Steve Rogers came in, it kind of would have diminished the point they were trying to get across of like a white savior. We see that obviously people don't want that.
I push back against that just for the sake of the reason that Steve gives the shield to Sam is because someone as good as Steve Rogers doesn't see color.
Exactly.
Even though he came from a time, the 40s, where there was a lot more racism,
Of course,
segregation, he's just a
good person,
moral
yeah.
character. So Steve Rogers doesn't
wouldn't even
care
matter.
about that.
Yeah.
I think they even said that in the one of the last two episodes that Steve didn't know what he was doing by giving a black man the shield. He wouldn't even think about that because he's just
Exactly.
such a good
He just sees a person.
morality.
Yeah. Yeah.
He doesn't care. And
He sees the person's
he's
character.
pure. Yeah, so
Yeah. I still want to see Chris Evans like in the prosthetic, aged out makeup
I would've-
at
I
some
would've-
point.
I would have liked to see a scene between aged Steve Rogers and
the both of them?
Isaiah Bradley.
That could have been cool.
It was cool. We see the closure at the end
Yeah.
that Sam gets Isaiah Bradley a statue in the Captain America Museum, but it would have been like real closure for Steve Rogers to go up, give the dude a handshake, give him a hug, and just say like, we're all in this together, regardless of race, and we're all Captain America type.
That's the
deal,
thing is like this show. It was good, but I felt like it could have been great.
yeah,
There was a lot of like again political, societal things, elements happening, and there was a lot of moving parts that I thought worked out well, but I thought that it could worked out better. Like you said, like to me the highlight of the entire series was episode 3 when we go to Madripoor.
was
You got
fun.
the gangsta music, you got Zemo's jacket looking baller.
Looked amazing.
He's in competition with Bane for the best jacket out there. But other than that, like I felt like we could have seen a flashback of John Walker's character in Afghanistan. That could have
Yeah.
been very relevant, very important too.
especially
as,
when
like,
they set it up.
PTSD, veterans touching on those subjects, kind of like The Punisher did on Netflix, or even a flashback to kind of hit the point harder of Isaiah Bradley's encounters back in like the 40s, 50s, whatever, what he was trying to do and seeing like the oppression that he was suffering under instead of just kind of talking about it. Like it's almost like just like the writers say show, don't tell. We were
Yeah.
kind of told, and I thought it still was important and it was still like we got the message, but it would have been almost like Watchmen on HBO. Incredible series,
That's
incredible
good.
spin-off,
Good stuff, yeah.
incredible content continuation, whatever you want to call it. That one episode where Hooded Justice, his origin story, if I saw that with Isaiah Bradley,
be
oh my
epic,
goodness. Like I would have been
That's
like,
where I'm
come on.
yeah,
Like,
that's where I feel like this show, like WandaVision, dragged.
yeah.
This show should
Could have had more.
This show should have
Yeah.
been 8 or 9,
Yeah.
and take 2 of those episodes to show John Walker in the war, him and Lamar.
Help us to understand his character a bit more,
Just
the conflict.
really
Yeah.
flesh it out because it's more interesting to see it. You start to relate to the characters more, and I would prefer to see that. And like you said too, how badass would that have been to have
Yeah.
like a mirror image of Steve when he goes in the first Captain America and he goes and rescues Bucky and the POWs,
The commandos.
in that one.
Yeah.
How badass would that have been to see Isaiah Bradley do the same thing to go get his super soldier like
But then get hated
comrades,
for it.
and then have
Yeah.
no credit for it whatsoever. Yeah, like that would have been such a like like drive the point home.
Yeah. Ultimately, like I think the show accomplished what it needed to accomplish. I'm very excited to see the next chapter, the next generation, even with Eli Bradley. I'm excited to see how they kind of like interpret Patriot because we're setting up this kind of like second gen, right? It almost feels like an Apple event. Like, today we have released for you the all new Captain America, Sam Wilson. But now like we see like almost like the third generation being set up, even with Isaiah Bradley,
Airball Bradley.
Airball Bradley, baby. I'm excited to see his origin story and just where that goes. I hope that they do Patriot.
It's there, but like they didn't flesh him out at all. But
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see in the future.
Marvel's always got a plan, though, man. I felt like the ending was kind of like a downer with Sharon Carter. I was hoping to see more of Zemo or like an ultimate plan with Zemo. Zemo as a character, he was like one of the best parts. Him and John Walker were
Definitely a
great.
highlight.
They were highlights of the season, series, whatever it's going to be. Zemo, is he done as a character? He was kind of like in another prison cell. It seemed to me like he went away too quick. I guess if this is the end of his character, it is a good, wrap up of what he was trying to do in the MCU. But as Zemo as a character, I still want to see Masters of Evil Baron Zemo, and he was fly as hell in this show, and I want to see more of him dance, the Fortnite dance and all. Both the villains in this show, besides the Flag, I could give two rat's tits about the Flag Smashers, but like John Walker as U.S. Agent and Baron Zemo, they were so empathetic as villains. They did a great job on those guys. I think that even better than the heroes, they were like the highlights.
They overshadowed.
Yeah.
Overshadowed for sure the main characters of the show.
Yeah. So I'm hoping to see more of Zemo going forward. I hope that's not the end of him, because otherwise he would have just went away a little too quick. Daniel Bruhl is an incredible actor.
He's good.
Incredible as Zemo. We got like more of Zemo, but I still want to see more of Zemo. I want to see him
He's just
realize
such a good character.
He's a great character. I want to see him completely realized as a character, full potential. And
I am satisfied with what they gave us, though, because
I would be.
I was slightly disappointed in Civil War, and what we got in this was A1 steak sauce.
It was great. But then, like, it leaves me just wanting more of, like, he still went away too quick.
With the character,
because like a lot of the highlights was like he was on, like, there was a lot of views, I feel like, very direct from the camera angles of like chess pieces. Mm-hmm. He's a mind game type character. And we saw his physical combat, which was awesome to see. But like, I feel like he's got the little long-term goal. Like, he destroyed the Super Soldier Serum. He destroyed the rest of the Flag Smashers. Mm-hmm. And he kind of like closed his book and like went to bed, like in coffin status. So it's like, is that the going to bed of the character? Are we done with Zemo? I just want to see more of him, because he is a great character.
My favorite thing is definitely the character designs of the show. Everything was comic accurate. And that's how I feel like we should not be shying away from these things.
Comic accuracy, right?
Yeah.
We're like 21 years removed from X-Men, right? When they were like, oh, it wouldn't look good. Give them leather suits.
Spandex,
yeah. Give them leather suits.
Give them yellow spandex.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We're past that point. Like, Deadpool, exact, copy and paste from the comic books to the movies. Perfect. Batman, perfection, Batfleck. Everything else, like, just give us comic accuracy. Some things still wouldn't work. You would have to kind of, like,
like, I'm not saying make Luke Cage, even though they did give Luke Cage the
they did, yeah, and it looks great.
Flashback, but it's like, like some characters just don't, give us everything comic. What we're saying is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Exactly. So just give us the costumes from the comic books. They work.
Anyways, those were our thoughts on the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. What did you guys think about this series? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Are you excited for the next phase of the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Let us know in the comments below. Anyways, that about wraps up today's episode of Twin Talk. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, comment below to join the discussion, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content. We'll see you next time. Peace!